guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or it took a lot longer for game 1 than you would think. Interesting. Now, how do you feel about Dredge, ignoring the whole Hollow One thing?
Yep.
How do you feel about Dredge versus Oath?
I feel confident in the matchup. I typically accept, sometimes, and Ibram's version has it kind of the vault key. Sometimes they backdoor into the vault key against you,
Yep.
and you're kind of like, all right. But in general, I feel pretty confident in the matchup. Although
Wow.
the Magus of the Moats running around, stuff like that. So it depends, kind of their creature package and kind of how they're trying to kill you.
I always felt like this was where Icarid shined the most.
Icarid,
To where you could just legitimately Icarid them out and not leave creatures in play. Like, or at least get a turn where you got decent damage in. Maybe you hit them for 3, hit them for 6, but didn't leave any creatures in play.
no, when a lot of the old Dredge versions, when they were playing like 3-4 Icarids.
Right.
And it also versus shops, because then you're just creating, pressure that they can't deal with.
Yeah, nowadays there's usually maybe 2 Icarids. That's what Tim's got. And obviously if he hits bridges, Icarid is going to leave. Wow, yeah, okay. 3-card hand, no Bazaar. We're in the mulliganing phase for game 1.
Yep.
Tim Morrison, following the Dredge mantra, you have to go find a Bazaar Baghdad. Your deck doesn't function without it. You see the 4 cards in exile over there. It's because his first 4-card hand had a Serum Powder in it. But he's on his way down to 2. And I'd be pretty tempted to scoop this pretty soon.
So I was going to say, most people would be tempted to scoop this here. One of the reasons I would still play as long as I can if I'm Tim is to kind of get some intel maybe on what his Dredge hate is.
Oh, sure.
So that way I can kind of understand maybe how to adjust my sideboard, some of the numbers and things like that.
Good plan. Yeah, he wants to scoop on turn 3.
Yep. Yeah, he kind of wants to get a glimpse of what maybe he brought in for Dredge first. And looks like he's keeping 3. Turn 1 Jailer, pretty good.
A lot of information.
Yep.
And it's very good. Yep, Yixlid Jailer. Again, though, doesn't beat Hollowed One or Gurmag.
So the thing with Jailer being an Oath deck is, it kind of dummies down, in a way, your Oath trigger.
Interesting. Undiscovered for Cabal Therapy. He just wants a look.
Yeah, he
He
does.
wants the information here, I think, more than anything else. He's going to get a misstep.
And he's not going to give it to him. So Tim's still going to be able to get a lot of information in this game, and that's kind of, what game 2 turns into for Dredge. You're just trying to get as much information about what your opponent did to their deck to kind of combat you. We got a Ponder. Looks like he has an Orchard up there. And it looks like he's just content to serve down beats with Jailer. He has the Bazaar, Serenity, and another Undiscovered Paradise.
Serenity is his anti-hate card. It's an interesting choice. I guess he sideboarded pretty aggressively then if he's got Serenities in his deck.
Yeah, he probably cut the majority, if not all, of the Dread Return package.
Wow.
Show and tell.
Interesting. Can a Dredge player punish you for that?
Not now. That Grizzlebrand's going to take over this game, and that's going to be all she wrote. So, and again, this is kind of, what I was talking to earlier about with the pivot, with some of the Dredge hate out there. When you don't run into ways with getting rid of like a Yixlid Jailer or Containment Priest, this is where you kind of get yourself in trouble.
It's interesting how Yixlid Jailer dodges the Serenity pretty nicely. I think that's probably one of the reasons Abraham chose it.
I'll say most people in the Brian Kelly camp just kind of oath into their Magus of the Moat. And no need for the oath when you already got Grizzlebrand out. So a couple quick hits here, and this one should be over.
Some question I think about whether, as Tim was mulliganing, I know I said that he mulled his 3-card hand. They then kept a 3-card hand. It is possible that he accidentally drew 3 cards twice. I know that he had a 4-card hand that he serum powdered into a 4-card hand. But did he mulligan the 4-card hand into 3, or did? And I might have miscalled that as mulliganing his 3-card hand. But I think that is the question. Is way back at the beginning of the game when he mulliganed.
So this is, I was talking to Tim actually earlier. He just beat Mike Salamasi the round before this for King of the Hill. I was talking to Tim earlier. This is his first time playing the deck.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah. So he is a Dredge rookie. He actually planned on playing a big blue deck, but he just kind of had I guess, epiphany, he said, at the last moment, and just wanted to Dredge today. And so this is his first time he picked it up.
Makes sense. So, yeah, this is the question. Did he mulligan a 3 into a 3?
Yep.
I definitely, I know I said he mulled 3, and then he kept 3, and I assumed I must have miscalled it, which is why I didn't bring it up at the time.
Yeah.
But looks like chat does think he mulled 3 into 3 as well.
And that's what the judges, it looks like, are trying to sort out here.
Clearly, this match needed another time extension.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but yeah, principle of it here.
No, the judges are supposed to get it right.
Exactly. We got to make sure we get it right.
Right. There's clearly 4 from a serum powder. He mulliganed. He serum powdered into a 4. The question is just whether.
Yeah, I wonder.
Whether after he got to 3.
Yeah.
You know, did he go serum powder, mull these 4?
And like I said, talking to Tim, this first time playing the deck, I don't think it was very malicious of intent.
I agree completely.
Yes. But it looks like they're going to resolve that. How do you feel about white border cards versus black border cards?
I'm in the middle somewhere. Like, there are people who get super tilted about white border cards. There are people who like to troll their opponents with white bordered cards. Whatever. I mean, I certainly attempt to play black bordered in all the stuff that I play. Like, I went out of my way to find the foil Merchant Scroll on Magic Online, so I wouldn't have a white bordered Merchant Scroll in my deck. But that's as far as I'll go. I'm not going to like think down on people. Also, quite frankly, fetch lands make white bordered dual lands convenient. Like, sometimes if I certainly I have a black bordered set of dual lands. That's what I tend to play in Legacy. But like in a format like I have a Canadian Highlander deck, which I don't leave the black bordered duels in my Canadian Highlander deck. I have white bordered duels in that one, and it's actually kind of convenient to flip through. Oh, those are the only white bordered cards. Great. Much easier to find the dual land in this 100-card thing.
Yeah, I like to be more of the original pitcher type. I bought the wrong Bazaar of Baghdad's on Magic Online, and my first match, I mulliganed away a Bazaar of Baghdad because I was looking for the original pitcher, and I was just like, oh my god, what a beating. Like,
that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's pretty funny.
So now I sell, the new pitchered Bazaars on Moto and buy the original pitcher, so we don't make that mistake again.
Funny.
I just brought it up because white border Serenity, I usually have the black. I'm more of a black border type person as well.
Yeah, I mean, I make an effort. I mean, I've been around long enough that I tend to just have the old original printings, a lot of this stuff. But you know what? My old school deck, most of my boxes are white bordered. Like, for some people, it just is a card availability problem.
Oh, exactly.
Like,
well, and the price issue, too,
The difference between unlimited and beta is, like, when the dust settled from the 90s, I had 1 beta mox and 4 unlimiteds.
Yeah.
I still have 1 beta mox and 4 unlimiteds. Like, this is fine. I don't...
Yeah. Even when you go from, unlimited dual lands to revised, there's still such a huge price difference, too.
No, I mean, if 90s Randy hadn't put together a black bordered set of dual lands, I would probably... I wouldn't do it at this point.
Oh, no.
It doesn't... I do have a lot of respect for the people that have the gorgeous all beta decks.
Oh, yeah, it looks really cool.
I'm jealous, but at the same time, I wouldn't lose sleep over
playing
white
are you a foils guy or not really a foils guy?
Like in goofy decks, like a Canadian Highlander deck or something, I would rather play the foil version of a card than the regular. I'm not a... It's funny, I don't seek out foils. It's almost like I'm almost the same way with black borders. At this point, I don't know that I'll seek them out, but I do think they're cooler. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm not all foiling my deck. All right, did we finish this? Resuming play.
Yep.
All right. And resuming play is basically Tim's done. He's just going to scoop.
Yep.
So I believe they're going to continue the investigation. I think they're going to go back and try to look at the tape.
Okay.
Right? They can look at the stream to confirm did he mull a 3 into a 3 or not. They happen to have a feature match. They can go back and look at it. I think they're going to do that, but they're just going to let the match continue on at this point.
All right.
So looks like they're going to have 9 or 10 minutes left for game 3. They're sideboarding for game 3 right now, is my understanding.
And like I said, kind of if I'm in Dred's position here, I think I really want to make sure I have, the Dread Return package, Flamekin Zealot, to go against, just kind of Oath and the speed potentially. And
I've confirmed they're sideboarding for game 3. We will have a game 3. We'll get back down there as soon as they finish the mulligan decision.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I get it. It's funny. Sometimes my wife still works for Wizards. I worked for Wizards for a decade. My wife still works there. So, random foils will make their way home from time to time, just random things. So I have some pretty sweet foils in, like, my Canadian Highlander deck, for example.
When I kind of first started getting into Magic, I was just a huge fan of Psychotog.
Okay.
So I just randomly have, like, 20 DCI foiled ones, like 10, just regular foiled ones. I have a few signed by Richard Garfield, Edward Beard, by the artist and everything like that. And that's kind of, how I made my way slowly into Dredge is back, in Extended when, everyone's playing Frigoride.
Yep.
That was a fun deck.
Makes sense.
So I've actually seen, I noticed that Ibram has a Mindbreak Trap in his sideboard. I've seen people against this version of Dredge bring in Mindbreak Trap.
Interesting.
Yes. I've been Mindbreak Trapped with this version of Dredge. I don't think he's going to bring it in, but, if he feels he just has a clunker of a card main deck, he might. So it looks like Tim is reboarding here, which I got to believe that he is bringing in some of that Dread Return package.
I'm surprised you talking about taking it out. I mean, I haven't played a ton of Dredge, but I've played a not insignificant amount of Dredge. I mean, I've run it in a Magic Online Challenge or 2. I've run it in a couple of VSL sets, and I felt like I would shave, like the thugs would come out. I would go from 3 Dread Returns down to 2, but I wasn't really taking out the whole package.
Yeah. Well, and so some of the issue with Dredge is finding, especially now, today, there's so many different answers for Dredge.
Yeah.
So back before even the Hollow One, Serenity, and Gurmag Angler plans, you were just playing, Ingot, Westmare, Nature's Claim, that they were a little situational on what they could hit, and then you needed answers for Jail or Containment Priest, things like that. So game 2, a lot of times what it turns into, and that's why your game 1 win percentage is so important with Dredge, because then game 2, it's a bit of a guessing game. You're trying to understand what your opponent's playing against you, what hate cards. So kind of to not be quote unquote dead to anything, you just kind of bring out the overkill and try to grind them out. You want to keep the thugs for Icarith fodder, and things like that, because if
so you're trying to win with Blood Gas and Icarith.
Exactly, because if they Tormouth Crypt you, there goes some of your thugs, there goes some of your dredgers, so you're slowing yourself down a little bit, whereas you're playing more of a grindier game.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I found I was shaving. I don't know. I guess I was shaving a little bit of everything. Maybe it's, you're saying get rid of Dredge and Dread Return, try to win with Ichorid and Bloodbath.
Yeah, because if you're at the point in the game where you're Dread returning something, you've probably won that game already.
Reasonable.
Post board, anyway.
No, that might be right.
Whereas here with Tim, especially against a quote-unquote combo deck in Oath, you definitely want to try to be faster. Hollow One, and like you alluded to earlier again, it's just not necessarily always going to make the cut, because if he just slams down Oath, then he's going to start running into Grizzlebrand, Sphinx, and then it goes really downhill quickly for Tim.
In terms of time, I believe this is one of the last matches going in round 6, if not the last one.
Oh, it has to be, right?
They had 17 minutes. I know we paused our clock when they stopped with the investigation. Okay, we've restarted the clock now. I was wondering, does the clock restart and then they have to sideboard on the clock? Looks like yes, which totally makes sense. That has to be Edge Dredge, right?
Yeah,
Seems a lot easier for Dredge to win in 5 minutes plus extra turns than
Dredge
Oath.
only needs 2 turns, really.
Well, it also it needs to not spend 7 mulligans, is what it
That's
needs
true,
to do.
yeah.
Like those take time.
Well, shuffling is the most time-consuming part of Dredge, typically.
That's why I've the only Dredge I play is on Magic Online at this point.
I have a friend who hates shuffling, and he never plays Dredge because he just hates shuffling.
Yeah.
He also doesn't like Legacy because there's too many fetch lands, and fetching with Brainstorm, too much shuffling. All right, looks like they're getting ready to cut and draw their 7 here. Tim, obviously, all in on Mono Bazaar here.
Yep. Players on 5-0. It's a big win.
This is a huge win here.
You only maintain control of your own destiny with 1 loss.
All right, let's see what they draw.
That looks like a keep.
That was pretty quick keep from Tim.
Yep.
He's got to be really happy with what he has in there. Oh, no, he's shipping that.
Pulls his notepad out, writes 1. He's going to keep track of exactly what he's supposed to mulligan to.
He knows what he's mulliganing to.
Funny. That's what that was.
Yeah, I was wondering
how many mulligans?
You know?
1 mulligan. Check.
Like I said earlier, this is Tim's first time playing the deck. He was just excited with how fast it goes. You know, I guess that's kind of the reason why he called his version Nitro here. Oath is I've talked to a few people. Oath is an archetype. A lot of people weren't sure if it was going to show up. It was, I think, about 12 or 13% of the field last year.
Isn't it always overrepresented?
Yes.
Here?
I feel it's always overrepresented.
I mean, maybe it's just Brian Kelly's personal effect and charisma, but I feel like there's always a bunch of Oath here.
You get to play with some sweet cards when you play, especially a Brian Kelly Oath version. Like, I mean, who doesn't want to be like going into, Magus the Moat, kind of Dragon Lords.
And at this point, Inferno Titan is just whatever.
Inferno Titan, Magus of the Future.
I don't know. I find I enjoy Oath. I mean, I keep trying it. It never feels like it's actually got enough of an advantage on Magic Online for some reason.
Yeah, I feel like I never see it on Magic. Although it did put 2 in the last Vintage Challenge past weekend.
One of which was Brian Kelly testing for this event.
Exactly. But yeah, I feel it's always, you almost never run into it online, but, at this tournament specifically, too, I feel it is always overrepresented in a field.
I think part of it is just that everyone expects this to be shops heavy, and it always is shops heavy, and you heard Brian say it.
Yeah.
The best blue deck against shops is Oath. And, people forget about it because it's been a year since the last Eternal weekend. So, all right, another mulligan from Tim Morrison. It's becoming harder and harder for either player to actually win this game, period, at this point. We'll see what happens.
Who are the real winners here?
Yeah. Anyway, I think that maybe it's the shops effect that has this knock-on effect of, and oh, by the way, Oath is going to be double-digit percentage instead of the 5% it is on Magic Online.
Well, I feel shops is kind of always the largest deck in the metagame at this tournament.
Was it not Mentor last year? I feel like it should have been Mentor last year, even if it may not have been. I don't remember.
It was shops. So I might even actually have that breakdown on here. I'm not sure.
I think people were predicting it to be Mentor, but maybe it turned out to be shops.
Oh, yeah. People were predicting, Mentor, but then paradoxical outcome kind of played into that a little bit. I think I have the breakdown